We are live. Yes. Awesome. Okay. So we have people pouring in right now. Cool. This is Keren, everyone. So excited to have her. I just kind of told everyone on the previous talk that I was doing how exciting and this talk is going to be and how much I love you. And I'm so excited for this. Okay, let's give it one more minute for people to roll on in, and then I will introduce Keren and she will take the floor with this awesome talk of detox your mindset.
I'm super excited to be here, Allie. It was nice of you to say you love me. You've never said that before.
I
I feel like we crossed the threshold as friends.
Oh yeah?
Um,
Oh my God, I know. So much growth right here.
Exactly.
And guys, Keren is in Texas, so thoughts and prayers for that she survives
Literally.
this hour.
Almost did not make it here. We got our power back yesterday. We're without electricity this entire week. Our pipes burst. Ryan is a genius. Turns out he can also do light plumbing, so he fixed our house, and that's why we're here today. So thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. All right. So let's get started. Marian's saying she's glad you said, yeah. Okay, so Keren, known as Coach Keren, is the founder of With Enthusiasm Coaching, and she is a personal and executive coach. So her programs are designed to help the most intense personalities, aka overachievers and superstars, uncover and overcome their blind spots. So she is internationally recognized with world-class leaders, high-profile athletes, media personalities, and major corporations. Her work, such as the Superstar Paradox, has been featured in numerous media outlets and publications, including the Harvard Business Review, CNBC, and Forbes. And her recent TED Talk, You Don't Know What You Don't Know, has been viewed over 200,000 times. Welcome, Keren. So excited to have you.
Thank you, Allie. So happy to be here with my good buddy, Allie. Let's help everybody detox their mindset. I know that it's the middle of a Sunday or the morning of a Sunday, depending whether you're Central Time, Western Time like Allie, or in New York City. Hi, Pauline. So nice to be here with you. I'm coming in live from Texas, the great state of Texas, which was not so great this week. And I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate the chance to be here today, the chance to have my electricity running, and the chance to speak to y'all. I'm going to walk you through my best-selling talk, Detox Your Mindset, a redux version, because I think we could all use a little detox. Does that sound like fun to everybody out there? I can see you in the chat. I can see you in the chat. Don't be shy. Thank you. See indeed. Yes. All right. So I'm just going to share my screen and get right to it. Allie, is that okay with you?
Let's do it, girlfriend.
Let's have some fun. All right. So, boop, 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 boop. Detox your mindset. As Allie was so kind to tell you, I am Keren Eldad, known lovingly as Coach Keren to my friends and known lovingly as Coach Keren on all of my social media handles. And I want to talk to you today about detoxing your mindset, which kind of fits into the theme of resetting and recharging, because I think that overwhelm has been the scourge of our times. I know this as an executive coach and as a suicide counselor for a very long time. Most of us are working too hard, are spread too thin. We are maxed out. We are burned out. And so it's a perfect time to do this, not only because it's Sunday, but also because it has literally been a year since COVID started. We have been suffering bizarre, unusual revolts. And I spoke before about racial injustice and the mayhem of the election. But I also want to talk to you about the fact that this week, Texas had a power outage throughout the state. We ran out of water. We ran out of electricity. It's 2021. And I froze myself to pretty much sleep every night for the last 4 nights. And you do get to a point, right, where you go, really, how much more can I endure? And I know that a lot of people, whether you're in the great state of Texas or not, are feeling this way today. It's okay. It is okay to feel this way. All of us have been asked, I think, to go a little bit farther than we normally would. So let's take a moment to tune in. Let's take a moment to detox, which is Allie's favorite word. And that's what we're going to do here today. I'm going to talk to you today about the concept of detoxing your mindset. My theory is just like the body can be affected by toxins. Ali gave me a very nice speech about adaptogens right before this, my favorite kale queen. Just as you can detox your body from the toxins, the pollutants that we have in food, in gluten, in sugar, in caffeine, from the air, from the pollution, the exact same process can be gotten for your brains, your mindset, your attitude collection can also enjoy a detox every now and again. When we detox the body, when we go on some sort of a diet and we eat a certain way in order to heal, in order to recuperate, we are cleansing ourselves of toxins. And in the exact same way, toxins can build up in our mindset through the accumulation of toxic thoughts. Now, I've been doing this for a long time. I have now coached more than 500 people personally. I coached 24 billion-dollar companies, including LVMH and Estee Lauder and Deutsche Bank. And believe me when I tell you that from there to the suicide hotline that I volunteer on, crisis text line, I keep hearing the same thought toxins again and again, the same patterns of toxic thought. Let me make this really real for you before we talk about what they are and what we're going to talk about today. When we dwell on how somebody has done us wrong, when we blame the year for being the worst year ever and setting us off our course and we just can't get it together, when we constantly make comparisons through that infinite scrolling on the Instagram and harp on and on about how this person just went live on the NASDAQ and I'm not, we are literally thinking consistent toxic thoughts. And here's the deal. If we let them linger, just like the accumulation of any inflammatory agent in the body, they will begin to affect all of our lives, our self-image, our performance, our achievements. They become a part of who we are. I think we all know people like that. We all talk, you're immediately associating people with this. That, by the way, as Ali knows, is a picture of my beloved mother, number one toxic thought thinker in the world. I love her so much. You all know people who complain a lot. Y'all know people who blame the world for doing stuff to them. Y'all know people who harp on and on about how they never get a boyfriend and they can't actually get their life off the ground. But this talk is living proof that everything can be undone. And I'm going to show you the exact thoughts to watch out for and the exact tactics to dissolve them. And all you have to do is listen and practice. And I have proof that this works. In the middle of last year, again, as Ali knows, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma that spread all over her body. She had lung cancer, she had colon cancer, she had kidneys were infected. I mean, there was just not an area that the cancer had not penetrated and infected. And she finally started to pay attention to her daughter, whose job she thought was kind of airy-fairy and she couldn't describe to her friends. And through practice, I believe, through practice and positivity and really taking this work seriously, my mother has had 2 PET scans thus far this year. And she is free and clear without a single trace of cancer in her body. It's like she went, hold my drink, Satan, not today. And I know that that is an extraordinary case and an extreme miracle, but I want you to try to bring some semblance of this piece to your life and to show you as living proof that this can work for you too. Whatever you are struggling up against, whatever you're trying to get off the ground, whatever healing you're calling into your life. So enjoy today's talk. We're going to take you through breakthrough exercises. And at the very end, I know that the Q&A is enabled. At the very end, I will answer any questions that you have. We're going to do this really fast over the next 20 minutes. Yes or yes? Thank you, Ali, for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. And I want to see more C's in that chat box. Before I go on, I just want to ask everybody for a quick favor that I ask for in every single one of my talks. The most toxic thought of all is one that you may have today, especially for those of us who are personal development junkies and absolutely love webinars like this. You know what that is? I know this already. I've heard this already. I'm a practitioner. I actually teach this for a living. When you come up against that toxic thought, I know this already, I'm going to ask you to pause right there and ask yourself, what can I still learn here? Is it possible that this person's going to deliver it in a new way? Is there any light that might be able to shine through? The reason I know this already is the most toxic thought of all is because it doesn't allow any light for any improvement. And we are not dead. We are not done with our mission here. We can always grow. As Ali mentioned, I gave a whole TED talk about this. You don't know what you don't know. It completely changed my life to understand this, to really sink into curiosity and allow myself to explore and to hear the teachings of other teachers, even to that which I know. So I really hope that you absorb this and forevermore say what Keren likes to say. When you know something, you kill possibility. Also, I really hope that everybody is enjoying this adorable picture of a kitty cat. Take a deep breath in. Let your Sunday out. Let's take you through the toxic thoughts that you want to detox from. The first one is assumptions, also known as judgment. I want to tell you a little story. Right before the pandemic hit, Ryan and I went on a vacation. We didn't know it was going to be our last vacation in a year plus, but we went on this vacation with extreme excitement. As we sat down on the plane to a new destination in the Caribbean, a couple that looks much like this stereotype couple sat next to us and did not stop talking. I don't know if you've ever been on a situation like that in a plane where it's super crowded, you can't move, and there are people next to you who will not stop talking to you, but I have. And I thought they were probably the most irritating people I have ever met in my life. Because I'm kind of indulgent and talkative myself, I took the bait to begin with. So it ends up rolling this huge conversation where they literally, what are you reading? Is this your first time going there? I have to tell you where to eat there. And let me tell you what you have to do when you're on the island. Now, Ryan, God bless him, my fabulous and amazing fiance, was reading a book and pretending not to notice any of this because that's what he does. He shuts down like a turtle. But I, because I have a beating heart and I'm a human being, allowed them to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, literally all the way to the Caribbean. You do the math. And then the worst thing possible ever happened. They shut down the airport to where we were going, so we had to all spend the night in the same hotel. Guess who's in the room next to us? These two. Guess who's at the restaurant in the table next to us? These two. So I'm thinking this is going to be the biggest disaster of my life. And then they joined us, brought over a bottle of wine, were really, really nice. And just as I was getting ready to tell them to please buzz off and annoy other people, the mom said, this is the first time we've come back to this island. We've been coming here for 15 years. Our son died in a car crash last year, and we weren't able to come back. And it's so nice to meet you young people. You remind us of him. I always tear up when I tell that story, and all of the stories that are sort of like this, because what we see as an annoying intrusion to our life, as a disruption, as a catastrophe that is just going to irritate us, is always something way bigger that's going on. When we make assumptions, when we judge in a moment that something is very difficult and that we know what's going on, we are literally neutralizing our own possibility to make connections with other people, to learn something, to grow, to help another human being. Now, Ali knows I have a bunch of stories like this, but the truth is you don't even need a big moment like this. When was the last time your boss said, we need to talk, and you immediately assumed you were getting fired? When was the last time somebody told you that they were from another political party and you immediately assumed that they were the devil incarnate? Why don't you stop making assumptions and give people time? This is the first and most important one because you're really battling all types of cognitive bias, but especially confirmation bias, looking only for reinforcements of what you know, which will really basically become a self-fulfilling prophecy in your whole life. In order to do this, I want you to learn to manage your perspective. The first thing I want you to know is the reason you do this is not you're a bad person. I definitely am not a bad person. Ali, am I not the nicest person you know?
You definitely are. You're the best.
Ali says I'm the nicest. So I really am kind. But even I have the same problem that you have, which is your brain cannot stand uncertainty. Your brain doesn't like not knowing what's happening, doesn't like to feel that it's trapped, because its sole purpose, its evolution over many years, has not been to make you happy, folks. It's been to keep you safe. It's been to ensure the survival of the species. So technically speaking, your brain is a little bit like my Jewish mother. It doesn't want you to grow up. It doesn't want you to leave the house. But if you want any semblance of growth in this lifetime, you have to leave the house. You have to take a chance. So understand that that's happening, and that's going to be half the battle. Sit with the uncertainty. Let things unfold. Allow the irritating people on the plane to tell you their story. I hope you got that. I'm sure you did. It's a really good story. And in order to do that, I'm going to give you my number one tool for all forms of mindset detox. It's actually in the worksheet that Ali and I have so generously given you as a bonus today. You can all download this. And I want you to remember this moment, because it looks like a regular moment in a webinar, but this is the very tool that changed my life, my know-it-all, run to conclusions life. It's called the pause principle. The next time something challenges you, doesn't feel right, or irritates you, pause. Before reacting, pause for 15 seconds, just 15 seconds. Is the problem, or is my reaction the problem? My reaction with anger, my reaction with aggravation, my reaction with eating too much, my reaction with uncollaborativeness. Number two, is there any other way I can see this? I don't know. Perhaps these people were put on the plane to somehow teach me something. And number three, is there an opportunity? An opportunity to change seats, an opportunity to open up, an opportunity to practice patience. I'm just following the example that I just gave you. You will see that if you use this extraordinarily simple tool that many of my clients print out and laminate and carry around in their wallet, your game will change. Just don't react. The next time your partner annoys the crap out of you, literally, is the problem, or is me about to react with uncollaborativeness and freaking out the real problem? And that was your tip. I like telling the story of how I changed this. I was once in an airport, and by the way, all of my good stories, as Ali knows, were trapped on a plane or in an airport. I don't know why, but that's where things happen to me, I guess.
And, or Soul Cycle.
Exactly. It's that or Soul Cycle, but I haven't been in a year. So now it's just about the very rare air travel occasions. And I was trapped on a plane with Lilia Estefan, the big Latin American superstar. Yes, she is Gloria Estefan's niece. And the plane got grounded. And at first I saw all the people around me freaking out and yelling at the stewardesses and telling them that they had to get to New York immediately. And I paused instead and asked, is me freaking out going to help here? No. Is there any other way to see this? Yeah, a plane that's grounded. I mean, who knows? Maybe something went wrong with the left phalange. That was a shout out to all my friends, lovers out there. And the reframe, what is the opportunity? I am trapped in the Miami airport with a Latin American superstar. That night, this wonderful woman who happened to be carrying a selfie cam took lots of videos of us, and my following exploded. In fact, I even created my first Spanish-speaking virtual coaching program. So always take things as an opportunity. What have you got to lose? Yes or yes? Thank you, and thanks to anyone who is saying a hearty yes on the chat. Number two, detox from pessimism. I like to say this actually as negativity. Detox from negativity. The biggest scourge of our times is not overwhelm, it's negativity. It's starting with the challenge with this is, and here's the problem with that. You know people who do that in meetings? I do. Do you know people who have been telling you for the last year that the economy is absolutely terrible? That their industry, retail, events, Ali, completely dead? Do you know people who say there are no good men or there are no women I can't date? Do you know anybody who says I have 1,000 emails? I mean, I literally have people say this to me regularly. I have 1,000 emails, like they're busier than everybody else. When you speak this way, we all think that we're just kind of talking the way everybody talks. But what you're doing is you're speaking defeat over your life. You are allowing toxic thinking into your life. And all you got to do to start battling this, because this is definitely going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, is to start to do two things. The first is to tell the truth. Is the economy really bad for everybody? No, Jeff Bezos is making a killing. Thank you very much. And yes, I understand that he's an anomaly, but just the mere fact that some people have been doing very well means that we still have the ability to turn it around. Believe me, I understand that when people say other people in Texas have power, so you can't complain, that's really annoying. But other people having power means, or meant to me this week, that I could go shower at a friend's house, and I could go stay at a friend's house, and I could, God willing, use my car and my existing power to bless other people with what heat I had. It just means being resourceful and reaching for a better way to think of things, not as the end or be all way of seeing things. And the second way, this is one I learned from my good friend Ali, is raise your standards. Every time I say, I can't lose weight, I'm over 40, Ali reminds me, Keren, you just need to remember what your wedding dress looks like and raise your standards, and you're going to get there. And you know, it really does the trick. Not always, but sometimes, and that's good enough for me. I want to make the case for this because there have been so many studies about this. But academically, the most important one is the positive psychology expertise of Martin Seligman. Dr. Seligman years ago classified people as optimists and pessimists, gave each of them the exact same task to perform, and asked people to evaluate how they were going to perform and then do the task. The optimists always overshot. They always BS themselves. And the pessimists always said exactly how they were going to perform. But what do you think happened 6 months later because you repeated the experiment with the same groups again and again and again? Well, I'll tell you, the pessimists didn't improve at all. They did exactly the way they were going to say, they said they were going to perform. And the optimists did 400 to 500% better. They massively improved their performance. So start raising your standards. What have you got to lose? This one is so important that I even added an extra footnote about why optimism is not airy-fairy. We're not teaching you to love ponies and believe in rainbows where there are none. It is literally about being solution-oriented, being resourceful, being practical, and just believing that you can figure things out. Because it definitely will help you weather all storms, including the Texas snowstorm, a lot better. And the last one I'm going to cover today, because we don't have that much time, is the biggest one: insecurity. You know, it's real easy to feel great when you have tons of money in the bank and your hair looks as good as mine does today. But not every day is filled with good lighting. Not every day is a good day. Sometimes we endure criticism. Somebody tells us that we're not as awesome as we think we are, or we've done something wrong. Things happen all the time. Sometimes people don't call us back. What? I know. Or don't return our texts for 2 days. What could be worse? You know those 3 little dots, and then they don't actually send a text? And then we spiral from this incredible confidence straight to this hellhole of self-punishment and insecurity. I want to give you a vulnerable, real, honest story. Last week, I had a client from Italy who had a 7 a.m. and I overslept. Now, I am a great coach who has been doing this for a really long time. Nothing should shake my confidence and knowing that I can do this. But I tell you, I literally said to Ryan, I don't deserve to live. I have to return this man's money. What kind of a person oversleeps? We beat ourselves up so much for the silliest things. Can you feel me? I know everybody out there can feel this one. So here's the key. What do? You have to start diving deep into the work of Brene Brown and Louise Hay, even Adam Grant, and embrace vulnerability. And the key to embracing vulnerability is to understand what it is. It's honesty. It's to embrace honesty no matter what other people say. Yeah, you know what? Some people are going to say, Keren, you're so unprofessional for not waking up on time. I'm really sorry, but that is what happened. And I'm going to forgive myself. Honesty is courage. And it's totally normal to be here. Everybody out there has taught us to put on a mask and look like we've got it together all the time. Instagram has made it much worse. You have to have the audacity to go bigger than that. And I want you to consider here Michael Phelps. Tell me, who is the bigger superstar? An undefeated Olympic champion that has his shit together, or an undefeated Olympic champion who talks openly about his struggles with mental health issues? If he could do it and I could do it, so can you. And I want you to get these final tips in order to really get out of there. The first is drop the comparisons. I know this is the hardest one, but looking at other people's lives on Instagram, which PS are totally fake, not helping you. Madonna did not look at Prince in 1987 and think, he's doing way better than me, so I got to copy him. No, you're genius in your own mind. Number two, hard to do, but really start caring a lot less about what people think about you. It's on them. If people are judging you, it's because it's their life experience. It's not yours. They don't know anything about your life. Do the impossible and apologize and take accountability for your mistakes like I did with that mishap. It's bigger than you think. And finally, stop beating yourself up and talking about how sad you are and what a terrible person you are. Be like my dad. That is my father. He is, as you can see, floating in the Dead Sea. And yes, he is this adorable. My dad, when I was growing up, used to look at himself in the mirror and say, you look great today. And last year, before this happened, when they were visiting us, I asked him, Dad, do you still do that? And you know what he said to me? He said, yeah. And today I told myself I look really, really good today. The best way to float out of this is to start practicing gratitude. And I did promise everybody 10 seconds of a workshop. Can we take 10 seconds? We have a little bit of time. Think for 10 seconds. I'm going to count in my head about what other people think of you and how grateful they are to have you in their life. What a blessing you are in people's life today. Please go ahead. Thank you for doing that with me. I know you are. I know you can be grateful. I know you remember all the people who love you, a la Mr. Rogers. If you want a little homework, write a thank you note to the people who have blessed you and watch your vibration rise sky high. The last thing I want to tell you all is I was thinking all week about my grandmother, God rest her soul. She passed away 2 years ago. She was 96 years old. I remember seeing her right before she passed. She was dancing, tearing up the dance floor. The woman was a machine, like me. And I said, Grandma, what is your secret? How do you always look so good? And she said, it's easy, darling. I laugh a lot and I let things go. Life is so short. You know, that woman who was almost 100 years old, she saw some really tough things, even bigger than power outages in Texas that have taken 58 lives. My grandmother lost a son in a war and lost a son to cancer. She lost a husband, but she was always greater than the circumstances. And she learned through time to laugh a lot and let things go. And I think that's exactly what everybody needs. Thank you so much for having me today, Ali. I hope I've done things in great time. I'm going to stop my share and I'll be very, very happy to take a couple of questions if we have the time. I see that we have 2 minutes. I see everybody's wonderful, wonderful comments. It's nice to see you too. Thank you so much for being here. Any questions, Ali?
Let's see, guys. Come on, let's get some questions over here.
Any questions for a world-class coach?
She's giving you her time for free. It's very valuable.
Okay. I know how hard it is to speak up in a forum like this. I hope it resonated with you. I'd be really happy to hear it resonated with people as well, what you're going to take with you today. How do we practice pausing? Danette, thank you so much for asking. I really do appreciate that. It is so easy to react. You're absolutely right. I want to tell you that if I could do it, so can anybody else, because I used to have the shortest fuse in the whole world. And I literally began by taking that pause principle, cutting it out on a piece of paper and carrying it around with me. So I remembered step 1, step 2, step 3. In fact, I started to do it in writing first, to literally write things out so that I could pause and redirect my responses. I promise you that you will get a lot better at that. Danette, I hope that helps you. And for more, I really, really recommend the work of Byron Katie. For the anonymous attendee who asks for tips to stop self-flagellation, the mind keeps going back to the memory over and over again. I understand. I know exactly what that is. We are all still reliving old traumas and rehashing things. I want to tell you that the best thing you can start to practice is self-soothing. Self-soothing is very simple. It's something that babies do naturally. Babies rub their feet, they rub their hands. You do the same for you and say things like, it's okay. Nothing needs to happen this red hot minute. You're getting better at this. I could try to maybe find a distraction. Even distraction is good. I can try to take a nap. I can speak to somebody soothing and calming. I can try to read something that will remind me of how good I am. It's okay. It's okay. I hope that that helps you, but self-soothing is an extraordinary portion of the work of releasing self-flagellation. And for that, I also recommend the work of the incomparable Louise Hay. I hope that helped you. Thank you so much for asking that brave, brave question. Again, you have the worksheets and the speaker bonuses. And I hope that you all write that love note, that gratitude note today, which will also help you very much. Thank you guys so much for being here today. It's been a real privilege. And I hope that you'll check everything out on Coach Keren on Instagram, Keren Eldad, that's spelled with an E, KerenEldad.com if you need anything else. And it's a real privilege to see you all today. Have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you so much. Goodbye.